I'm going to stop and talk a lot about it until we get up to the top, and then we'll talk more about what you saw here as well as the other parts of the site. So with that, I think our best thing is probably just to get away from the noise and get up, get up where it's a little bit more quiet.
A little bit of history. This was one of the first sites listed on EPA's Superfund list back in 1983 when the list was created. Superfund was created in 1980, and the first sites were added to the National Priorities List in 1983. So this is one of the first sites. It was listed primarily due to the discovery of mercury contamination in the river, and then as folks started to realize there was something going on, they noticed contamination in the wetland areas, and that eventually led to the inclusion on the NPL. There were a number of responsible parties, including the former Nyanza Corp. Nyanza was the most recent operator of this site. The site manufactured dyes and other chemicals from the early 1900s through the mid-1970s, I think 1978. Nyanza actually operated it from the mid-1960s until it was shut down in 1978. The primary problems stem from during the heyday of the operation, the liquid wastes were discharged to lagoons, and the contamination was allowed to seep into the ground, and so you had the liquid contaminants seeping into the ground. Then what you had left behind were high levels of contamination in sludges in the lagoon areas, and then they also had what you may have heard of called a vault, which was actually a underground storage tank, large concrete structure in this case, which was one of their primary discharge mechanisms. And basically when EPA remediated that, and I forget the exact dates, but early 1980s, late 1980s, they realized it had been leaking continuously for some time. So that is one of the primary culprits, which led to a fairly large area of groundwater contamination. Standing on the northeast edge of the cap area for the Nyanza site, and what we're looking at is what we call an interceptor trench. The purpose of this trench is to prevent groundwater, which moves naturally from that up ground location down through, and would, absent this trench, it would flow through the contamination in the landfill itself and potentially redistribute the contamination, cause it to migrate. By installing this interceptor trench, as you can see, you have groundwater flowing out of the fractures of that wall and being collected by this trench and diverted around the landfill. So now the groundwater is prevented from flowing through the cap area and coming in contact with the contamination that's in that landfill. Therefore, we know that that contamination isn't migrating.
The trail that we're standing on right here was part of the trail that we used to run. The middle school is now the old Ashland High School. And the trail used to come right down out the back door, right across the football field, and we used to run right down through here, right down to Magunko to Cherry Street, and then we'd do our track runs, depending on distance, but we would come through here every single day when we were running track, winter track, cross country. So you would see, and I was saying before, there was a stream right at the end of, where the railroad tracks are on Cherry Street that used to run right there, would change color on a daily basis. You would see it one day purple, another day orange, another day green, another day red. I mean, every single day. And this was, I graduated high school in '75, so it was probably '72, '71, somewhere in that ballpark. So yeah, we saw a lot that went on, but we didn't think anything of it. Like I was saying, some of the kids used to play hockey on the little lagoons here, and the ice would be different colors, and you'd make fun of it thinking, okay, that's the blue line or that's the red line. Well, literally, the color of the ice was due to the dyes in the water.